Hey, what's going on YouTube? What's poppin'? East Finest, hosted by Mike. What is good, everybody? Everybody, what is good? Um, First off, I forgot what was the latest videos I've done. Tomorrow's gonna be the first time in over 2.5 or so months that I've actually used a truck that wasn't mine. I'm using a Penske truck to go and pick up a unit outside of whatever. About 3 or more weeks now, last 2 units I purchased were literally right up the block from me, so I wasn't that disappointed with the units, but I did really well. I paid $50 for one and $170 for the other, and I made fucking 2,400 fucking bucks. Like, it was, like I'm dead ass. I just, I so now here it is. And the only reason, like this unit, like last week, I purchased a unit that was supposed to have been in I don't know if that's considered blue. No, it's still East Orange. Literally like maybe another 3 or 4 minute walking distance from where I rent my Penske's and got those 2 units from. And that place normally is garbage, but the stuff was garbage. But it was a lot of clothes and shit like that, and people. But it was like I had between 3 and 4 Haitians that just brought hundreds of dollars worth of shit, and then I had a guy who brought my the Frogger Arcade. So all that is why I made what I made. The Frogger Arcade went for like $950, and then everything else is just over almost $1,700 worth of shit, and people were buying like. I mean, I had cosmetics, and it was like this. 10, 20, 40, 50, 20, 20, 40, 50, 20, 20, 50, 50, 55, 10, 20, like back, and then, people constantly 300 here, 300 there, 2, it was crazy. So, looking at this unit now, let me look at it. Let me look at it, right? You guys can't see it, but I can. Let me look at it. Maybe you guys can see the reflection through my glasses, but I do want to look at it because I only looked at it through my phone. I brought it. I don't even know why I brought it to buy it, knowing that I got it. And now the truck rentals are even more. Before it was always a $347 deposit. Now it's $100 extra deposit on top of whatever the hell else, and they charging more for mileage and everything. For some reason, I guess August and July are the peak months for moving. And Penske never used to do that. And I was telling the girl that, but you can't argue with them. You can't debate with them because, they do what they're going to do. It is what it is. Where are you? Payment received. Buy it now. There we go. So I paid $110 for this unit. The taxes and everything is like $108. And it's at 28 Erasmus Street in Brooklyn. So it's like a street between, I think, Rogers. I know where it's at. It's in Flatbush. And that's normally not really a good or great thing, to be honest with you guys. But why did I buy it? Well, there is a deep freezer I can see. I see like sheets and quilts. That stuff does very well for me. There's some knick-knack furniture. There's an old school radio on the ground. I really don't like buying a lot of these rooms because in these places, a lot of the people are Caribbean. Like there's an old, Smith Corona electric vacuum is in a box. There's also a fan in a box, so that stuff I can try to sell ASAP before the month's out. There's definitely like some old odd couple looking. When I say odd couple, I mean like the 1970s looking furniture that you would see on TV shows like the Odd Couple. So whenever you hear me say odd couple furniture, I mean like old ass furniture from the 70s and 80s, most likely 70s. So there is a lot of like linen stuff in here. There's a lot of stuff in here that's tied up. I mean, at the end of the day, for $105, technically $127 or something like that with the fees and everything, you can't go wrong. You can't debate it. It's a 10 by 10, so it's not huge, but there's definitely a lot of furniture in here. I do see. Oh, that's a nice looking. Whatever the hell that is. So there are sheet sets and stuff. That stuff sells. So my plan is to do a garage sale Friday, hopefully, weather permitted, and then Saturday maybe go on my truck and take comic books and other stuff that I got from Eric, as well as myself. That's my plan. But plans are meant to be broken. So again, this looks like some kind of old ass looking treadmill thingamajig. I mean, if there's a lot of stuff that's like way too much garbage, I may just go through the Bronx and pay to dump this stuff. Or maybe even Brooklyn, because there is like a dump site not too far from there. And I have to be very careful because I'm paying $1.50 a mile versus normally it's $1 a mile. So it was $2, but the manager looked out for me. The woman who runs she's basically like the boss of the Penske hub. So that's how much I've been renting. I've been renting so much for so many years with Penske that I have that kind of pull. I used to have a great rapport with U-Haul, with the guy I used to call White. My father Brian, white guy, in Queens. I love this guy to fucking. I mean, I would go to hell. I would go to hell with and for this guy. To this day, I still love Brian. Well, obviously he's way older than me. He's like in his 80s or something like that. Great guy. And I mean, this guy did a lot of shit for me. Shit that he shouldn't have done. I'm not gonna go into details, but great dude. Looks like a lot of old furniture here too. I don't think I'll be able to do good on that stuff. And then as well, and then I met another guy named Jimmy at a budget in Orange. Real cool guy. And over time, we just have a real good rapport. And he used to look out for me as well. But something happened with a truck that got hit, and I got blamed for it. He tried to take up for me, but the company, not his hub where they rent, but budget themselves, try to put it on me. And I don't rent from them no more. And I had an issue also with U-Haul with the rental got messed up when we were moving here. And Brian also came to my aid, but for some reason they just wasn't trying to hear it, and it really had nothing to do with me. So that's 2 times. So I'm not giving nobody money that I know I don't owe. So I just feel like, fuck budget and fuck U-Haul. And I've been dealing with both of them for years. U-Haul longer than anybody. And again, it's not Brian being. I mean, he is a U-Haul authorized dealer, but at the same time, he's an authorized dealer. He's not the corporation. Corporations set the moods and rules. Same thing with budget. And I had these 2 people try to come to my aid on 2 different occasions, and it just, it didn't work out. So I just refused to pay them what I don't owe, and that's why I just rent from Penske. And every once in a while, I'd use Home Depot. Because with Home Depot, you got to use your own auto insurance. But some auto insurances are funny when it comes to rentals, because they don't want to be responsible for a vehicle that's not on your policy with your license plate. So that's kind of funny. And then on top of that, with Home Depot, they don't charge you mileage like that. But, you got to get up bright and early to get the truck. And most of the time when you get the trucks, they're really disgusting and beat up. And a lot of them have a lot of debris left over, and trucks be badly damaged. And if it's too badly damaged and you complain too much about it, they'll put out a service, then you're shit out of luck. So anyhow, tomorrow I gotta go to Brooklyn. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at a couple of storage units not too far there, so I can pick up a little small unit while I'm there. I'm not too far from my mom. I'm about maybe 6 or so miles away from her, but going and coming, that's basically an extra $30 in mileage. So I'm like, should I go visit her, or should I just stay where I'm at and then just come back? You know what I mean? Because if I spend $30 getting there in mileage, I gotta spend the same amount of mileage coming back. So that's already 60. So if it's 50 getting, that's 100. You know what I mean? So wherever your mileage, like if you're at, let's say 60 miles, think about it. $60 plus another 30. So that's already $90 going. So if you're spending $90 going, $90 coming back, that's already $180 just in mileage. So I may be getting myself a truck very soon. It was something I wasn't really contemplating on because I don't want to be, how you say, I don't want to be stuck into buying rooms like that. But then again, I'm gonna start doing toy shows again, and I just, I just really need to figure out what and how I'm gonna do it. Because everybody's like, yo, the way you cook, I should get into the food truck business, and I don't want to do that because the prep work is crazy. There's times when I'm just too tired, too lazy, and or too sick to deal with what I do now. But I'm so used to pushing myself to doing a moving job. Because let's face it, buying a storage unit is a moving job. Especially when you're doing it by yourself. You're actually taking shit out of a unit and physically putting it in a vehicle, and then you're reversing it when you're by yourself. You know what I mean? So it's not easy. Especially a guy my age. It's not easy. But anyhow, so yesterday I did go to the thrift shop. I didn't get much. I didn't get no clear. Did I get? No, I didn't get any clear bins yesterday. I did sleep on one of them, and I don't know why I forgot it, but I did get some toys, but it wasn't nothing to sit back and do a back flip over. But I just couldn't believe how much that shit added up to. That stuff added up to like about $70 or something. I was like, how the hell? But I think it was like either 5 or 6 games. It was like I think 3 or 4 PS2 games, about 2 PS3 games, and the PS3 games were $3.99 each, and the PS2 games are $2.99 each. So that adds up. So that's already over $20 plus the tax on it right there. And I picked up a couple of other toys that it couldn't have been that great because I can't remember them, but it was definitely worth me buying them. But I just can't remember what the hell they were. I think one was probably a plush or something close to it. And all that came up to like around $70. Today, I want to take Isaiah clothes shopping because this kid is growing like a damn weed in the middle of a vacant lot. He's basically I'm 5'9", so he's basically about 5'8" now, and slim. So this kid is growing like nobody's business. So, he's outgrowing his clothes like this. So I'm like, dude, until your growth spurt stop, we're not going to be spending all this money on these essentials and all that. You're going to get regular basic clothes that you like until, your height decides where it wants to go. Because it don't make no sense to spend either that or we got to just buy big. And he does not like that. So it's one or the other. So on top of that, so today, my plan was to do a lot of things, including meet my boy Eddie. And, I was supposed to have went to Mitsuya supermarket and restaurant, but I guess Sean had other plans for some reason because he owes me a favor, so he didn't show up today. But I just hope everything is cool. Tomorrow I can't go because I gotta go clean out these units, and I already got the truck in the back. I had an appointment to pick it up at 4, and so I went to pick the truck up, a 16-footer. I was gonna try to get the 26, but I think for now on they're no longer keeping 26-footers at that location because of the streets, and now they're building another. I mean, all types of stuff that the hub is telling me. So for now on, if I need a 26-footer, I'm gonna have to go drive somewhere else to get it. But maybe they'll allow me to drop it back off at this location. I'll figure out how to work that out later on, or whatever. But anyhow, so today, what did I get? Today, I forgot how much I spent, but I did. It was kind of crappy. There was a nice Horizon Hobby RC car in a box, and those go for like a good couple dollars, anywhere from around mid to upper hundreds, to even 2 pre-owned. I don't know if the battery's there or whatever, but it does have the car and the actual remote, so those are a plus. So my plan is, most likely, I'm not gonna put out a lot of that kind of stuff on Friday. I might just save that stuff and go and set up at the market on Saturday because Saturday had 2 weeks of not being open. So I'm pretty sure the comics I got from Eric should fly because I'm only gonna sell them as a lot. So I'm gonna try to take that and some other toys and shit out there with me and see how that works out. So hopefully somebody buy all that crap. So there's a good chance, depending on how tomorrow run, I might just decide to go to Columbus on Thursday and try to pick up some stuff to do a sell for Friday and then Saturday at the market. That's my plan. Either way, I might be going to the market on Saturday, but just to look around if it doesn't work out. So it all depends on what I get tomorrow and how the stuff is in the unit. Hopefully, I find jewelry and stuff like that, because it is like an older unit. But the one thing I can say about a lot of older people, especially if it's like a older Caribbean, like poor class Caribbean couple, the chance of me finding good shit or like nice high end jewelry isn't that great. When you're dealing with like old white people in their 60s, 70s, unless they're into sports stuff, and when it comes to Caribbeans in their 60s and 70s, especially 70s or so, the rooms are never that great. I mean, you might get some stuff, but it all varies too. The good thing about it is it doesn't really look like a unit that somebody was just storing stuff to ship out to the Caribbean or Central or South America, which is a good thing, because that kind of stuff is stuff that they know they could sell, but it's not like, stuff that they actually keep locked away. That's precious. You know what I mean? So that there's always the ands, ifs, buts about when you're dealing with this stuff. It's a catch-22 business. Just like, thrifting. You can go thrifting or go garage selling, and it's a catch-22. You might get lucky enough to find some great shit for cheap, or you might be able to find some garbage shit for expensive, and vice versa. Sometimes it's the luck of the draw. Everything is luck. It's just like my boy Errol Spence and Crawford. It was a luck of the draw, and one person's timing can be off by one little second, and that's all it takes. And I love Errol. I really thought he was gonna do it, and unfortunately, he lost the fight, and he lost horrifically. He never lost, and this Saturday he lost bad. Physically, he was just bad, and I literally shed a couple of tears because I love that kid. I don't even know him, but you know how sometimes your spirit just clings to somebody. You don't even have to know him, but you just have this genuine, like, baby brother or uncle, grandfather, father, or brotherly love for this person. Like sometimes your spirit just clicks with this person, and it's just something about Errol Spence that I just always clicked with him, even before that accident that almost killed him. So when he came back from the accident, and some of his fights were like at borderline, but he always overcame. Some would, it was at the it was at the judge's decisions, but he fought good. He has a great chin. But Saturday it just wasn't good, and I really felt. I felt like I got beat up in the ring. I felt like I just watched one of my sons get jumped. That's how bad it was. And they both had a lot of style and grace after the fight. And at the end of the day, true champions prevail, and true champions take their loss, rub it on their chest and their whole body, and just say, come bring it. Because at the end of the day, everybody can be beat. Everybody can get got. It's all about timing and whatnot. But sooner or later, everybody's got to get it. And, but anyhow, that's how this business is. Whether you are a thrifter. I've been away for months thrifting, and on at least 2 or 3 occasions, guys got tons of vintage G.I. Joes, a lot of vintage toys while I wasn't there. Now I'm back, and, it's like, oh, he's back, so now shit is just not coming out the way it's supposed to. But, hey, it is what it is. So what did I get today? Okay, I got that Horizon Hobby RC car. I think it's called Rainbow something. They look like it's Barbie, or they might be able to fit Barbies or something, but it's like this little gold box, and it has like a bra, and I think like a skirt set or something. It looks really nice and elegant, and it goes for like $50 online. They had it for $2.99, and then they had like another little box that matches that and matches the outfit with shoes in there. So I grabbed that. Oh, that's what I got yesterday. So yesterday I did get an American Girl doll. That was a certain price, and it was that and some other stuff I can't remember right now. And that's what made my stuff go up to 60 or 70 something bucks. Close to 80 or some shit like that. And it was about 16 items. I got 16 items, and that $3.99, $2.99, $2.99, $2.99, $5.99, $5.99, $7.99, $14.99. That adds up. and that's what that was. But you know, going back to today, so the when I saw that, I know some of those Korean and Chinese like HPC knockoffs. Some of those RC cars, people still buy them, and I don't know if you can integrate a lot of the stuff from those companies to all these other ones, but I know I should be able to get something. I mean, I pay what, $20 for it. I should easily be able to get at least $60-$70 for the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a maybe. So outside of that, as I was leaving, so I got that little outfit thingamajig, that and something else, I can't remember what the hell it was. And as I was going to the front, the girl rung me up, and I just saw this black bag just sitting on the shelf. And I was going to leave it alone. I was like, oh, it's probably some binoculars or something. So I asked, oh, can I see that bag? So when she went to lift it up, I was like, oh, it's probably binoculars or something in it. But the way the tag was stapled to the thing, I couldn't see the Intech name. So when you see Intech, you know it's got to be video game related. But when I went to open it up, I'm like, oh, shit. It was a Game Boy Advance. Like that bluish purple Game Boy Advance. A lot of the Game Boy Advance, like those crappy ass little gimmick attachments, like the lights and adapters and all that jibber jabber, that was actually in this Intech bag. And then you had this protector, this silicone rubberish type protector over the Game Boy Advance, and everything was the matching color for this thing. You had a game that was inside of it, wasn't that great. Then you had like 2 empty Game Boy Advance cases. And then you had another Mario game in one of the cases. So there was 3 cases altogether. 2 were empty. One had the Mario, and then Game Boy Advance had a game inside of it as well. And they put that out for a relatively cheap price, considering a lot of stuff was in there. So as I was going to the register, I was gonna just say, forget it. But something just said, you know what? Sometimes it's better to be curious and have curiosity. Because if I didn't, I could have left that. Somebody else could have looked at it. And because of my arrogance and being lazy and not curious enough, somebody else could have got that. So that, that was a happy buy. And, really that was it. But yesterday, I did go to Hawthorne, and they had a Hulk, like a nice size Hulk. It was like $4.99. I was going to get it, but then I was like, the last couple of them I had, I don't even remember what I got for them. And I didn't think it was worth me doing all that work to get off all the paint rubs, so I just left it and didn't get anything from there. Then from there I went to the downtown Patterson GameStop, and I got these. So I got these yesterday. So I got 3 G.I. Joes. We got number 70, Shipwreck. We got number 71, Rock and Roll. Now remember, this guy with Clutch and Vamp were the start of me collecting toy action figures. My mom has a gimmick, because I was into model cars and Matchbox. I know I say this repetitively enough, but as a gag gift, my mom got me, because I was into model cars, and my model cars used to look something fierce when I was done with them. And I'm not just saying that, I'm tooting my own horn. I was always good with paint applications and knowing how to apply the right amount of glue and everything. So somebody told her about the G.I. Joe stuff. So as a gag gift, she got me the Vamp with Clutch, because it came with Clutch, and Rock and Roll, because I don't think she knew that there was a figure inside of the Vamp. You know what I mean? So, and she was always telling me that, like back in the day, I used to collect the Star Wars, but I got the vehicles, and I got like the guys like Chewbacca and Hammerhead. I got those figures. I didn't like the Hans and the Princess Leia's and Luke Skywalker, because they didn't look like the figure. But anyway, so she got me the Vamp with Clutch and Rock and Roll. So she got me 2 G.I. Joes, a vehicle that came with a figure that she didn't know about, and then Rock and Roll also. So those are my introductions to something outside of cars. And ever since then, I loved articulated figures, and this is always gonna be my stronghold, because this was technically my first to second G.I. Joe figure or action figure my mother ever brought me. So, rock and roll, this version of rock and roll, the Vamp and Clutch is always going to hold something in my heart. And G.I. Joe holds something in my heart because, like, growing up, my mom was dirt poor. You understand? Like, we were dirt poor up until my baby sister. I think when my baby sister got in the 7th or 8th grade was when my mom went to work, and she worked at the post office until she retired. So, you know, money was not easy. I mean, I had a lot of love and support in my family where we always got for Christmas, Easter, and all that. We didn't live like poor folks or like bums and derelicts and shit, crackheads or anything like that. But we knew we were poor. Let's put it that way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know. But this is pretty dope. I really don't understand, you know, the whole finger thing. I don't get that. I don't even know what that comes from with that, but whatever. So he basically comes with a radio, 2 extra hands, of course an M16, no, M60. I don't know if that's like a claymore or something. He comes with a gun that looks like nothing that a soldier should have back in those days. I don't even know what kind of handgun that's supposed to be. He comes with a helmet, and again he comes with, I guess, 2 you know, bullet belts for the M60. Why I keep saying M16? So you got Greg Rock and Roll McConnell. So you definitely Irish brother. You know what I mean? So yep, there you have it. So he's supposed to stand 6'4". So his he does come with some badass tattoos on him, and he comes with a different shirt than what he has So they kind of took like the old rock and roll and mixed it a little new because with the tattoos and the fact that he doesn't have an all green shirt to match his pants. His shirt is like more. It is more like an army, like more of an army PT type shirt. Still got the crazy beard, which is kind of an oxymoron because in the military, unless you out in the field for a long time or you're a op, you wouldn't have a beard, let alone that much facial. That's unacceptable. I don't know how today's standards are, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty close to that. But whatever. So anyway, you got rock and roll here, and then number 72, we got Cobra Copperhead, which kind of sucks due to the fact that they should have released him with he should have been a HasLab. They should have released him with the water moccasin instead of releasing him by itself. But you never know. Who knows what the hell Hasbro's doing? So that's what I got yesterday. And I got my boy Chewy also yesterday. Did I get him yesterday from them too? Or did I get it from somewhere? No. Where did I go yesterday? I went there. So where the hell I got this from? I don't remember if I got this Chewy from GameStop as well. But whatever. I got it yesterday. I didn't go to Walmart or Target yesterday, so I guess I must have got it from them too. I just don't understand why there's no tag. Whatever. It is the Chewy. I did get rid of all my Black Series 6-inch guys. The reason why I have this one, or the reason why I collect these, is because they are you know what I'm saying, a Remlins. I can't think of the fucking. I can't pronounce the word now. But you guys know it's basically like these guys. Obviously, you see in the background the whole video, a resemblance to the old ones, just 6-inch. So I decided to get these, but I'm only getting the ones I really, really like, and I use it as wall art. So not only do I collect them, but they're used for wall art. So they actually help make my stuff look a lot better. I mean, of course, one day I might get rid of all this shit, and I might just stick strictly with Hot Toys and do more of a mature, like museum quality stuff with glass, you know, shelves. But you know, you never know. I've been getting rid of a lot of shit lately. I sold off all my Siege and War of Cybertron Transformer stuff. Eric, the Woodbridge toy promoter, real good guy. He brought all that shit from me. And yesterday, as a matter of fact, he brought all my Titans in a box. I was gonna try to hook up with my boy and see if he wanted them, but you know, a lot of procrastination, so I just gave it to him because I know it was like straight money right there. I didn't have to wait, so I just took that decision and ran with it. So I sold off all 4 of them. I had Metroplex, the Autobot Arc, Mega Supreme, and Minosaur. And then I also, since he took all my Siege stuff, I actually traded him also the shorter version of a knockoff version of Devastator, then a smaller one. It wasn't a knockoff, but I forgot what company makes it, but it's a small, like 6-inch one, which is pretty badass. As well as my my Legacy Minosaur, with all 4 boxes, and the 5th one, Minosaur. I mean, Motormaster himself being the box is jacked up, but I gave him all that anyway. So we did a deal yesterday for all that stuff. The Gentle Giant Star Wars stuff went elsewhere. That was already spoken for already. Yeah. So anyway, this is going right here. I mean, you know, sooner or later I'm gonna do a wall video. I'm gonna do a what you call it. I'm gonna do a room tour. But I might be getting rid of more ish. I was thinking about getting rid of the Panache RoboCop, the Panache Voltron stuff. Because I am a huge fan of Voltron. I mean, who wasn't? I mean, 1985 was a great year. I loved 85. I love the 80s period. I think I was more of an 80s guy than a 70s and shit like that. But I have 3 Voltrons here. 2 are virtually almost identical. The other one is slightly different. He has a black face instead of blue. And the green lions and the white, and all the lions are slightly different than the other 2 I have, but still not pretty badass. I also have the vehicle Voltron that comes in like 15 or so vehicles that complete him. I did have a chance in the Columbus flea market. Star Wars Mike and Dino Dan are my witnesses, where this guy was selling a whole bunch of stuff with the 3 bears or whatever the hell you call it, Voltron, which is kind of the hardest one to find, but the least expensive one. I definitely should have gotten it, but I didn't. I also have a Super 7 Voltron in the inside the box. I don't even know where the hell that came from, but whatever. I'm looking at that now. Then I have like the car Voltron still wrapped in the where the hell is it? Oh, it's back there. I have that one along with the rubber regular Lionbot Voltron, and then down here I have like a lot of the Panache stuff. I don't have all the Panache things, but you know, I have a couple of vehicles and stuff. So I was thinking about getting rid of all of it, but I don't know. I might just keep it. I mean, it's not bothering nobody. Yesterday and today I was actually thinking about selling off all my my masterpiece, the masterpiece ones I have. Because I got some pretty badass ones, and with a lot of vehicles and stuff. Maybe even get rid of the Transformer collab G.I. Joe figs. I don't know yet. I was contemplating on it, but I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I do have the Mattel 1966 Batman with Robin, the Batmobile, and I have like all of the I think it's like 5 or 6 of the villains. I only remember having that, but I'm looking right at it. Because I'm dibbling and dabbling into a lot of ish. So I'm collecting a lot of shit, like a lot of vintage stuff. And it is overwhelming because I've dabbled into thanks to the Black Series Star Wars, I started dabbling into the vintage Star Wars figures. And it's like once you start getting some of them, it's just like it's more of a nostalgic thing of just having them and seeing the artwork and stuff on the old ones, you know, that I'm like, you know what, they're badass. So I got so much of it that I'm just like, and I just keep buying them. And then, so I got too many vintage toy lines, and there's major lines like G1 Transformers, G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Mask, Hasbro WWF figures. And that's it for what I'm personally collecting as far as vintage goes, and that's enough because those are all the cheapest line out of all of them is definitely the Star Wars. And of course, Star Wars is self-explanatory on why it's the cheapest, because you know everybody done made too much of Star Wars shit. But I do have some pretty dope ones. But those are the G.I. Joes and G1 Transformers. I'm definitely keeping. Mask, I love Mask. I mean, Mask. You know, it kind of tastes like Transformers, G.I. Joes, and kind of mix them together in such a great fucking toy line. I mean, they have probably one of the best theme songs from the 80s that to this day it sends chills down my spine just listening to that theme song. My mass crusader. I mean, that shit just brings back almost every memory I could think of with cousins, family, and just banging ass summers and music. Everything nostalgic and fine and fun that I remember from 85 to like 88. Anytime I hear that Mask theme song, it just sends fucking chills down my spine. Every time. Every time. And in a positive way. And that's just a toy line that I always said if I had the room for, I don't give a fuck what it takes. I'm always going to get and keep that line. So that's up there with the G.I. Joe and G1 Transformers. And of course, Star Wars is right behind it. Because sometimes the older you get, you become more mature. There's certain things, it's like foods. I used to throw up, excuse me. That's kind of nasty. I used to regurgitate and get nauseous eating beets. Beets, beets. Now I can eat beets. Like I ate them one day in a salad, and I was like, okay, these are good. Maybe because it had onions in it and spinach, so maybe that's why. But there's things I can eat now that I couldn't eat before, and I guess after a while you become mature to certain things in a positive and or negative way. Hey, life is a catch-22. So, with that basically being said, so I'm really gonna concentrate on that. As far as new, I think I'm just gonna really start just sticking with only certain blister carded 6-inch black series like this. Sooner or later I might misplace. I might replace some of them. Like the clone Commander Cody, that's self-explanatory. That's staying. The Han Solo and the Hoth and the Princess Leia Organa, if they come out with the original packs to these, that's when I'll replace these for those. Moff Gideon, I just love Juan Carlos, so that's a given. Then I have like some other ones up here. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna keep everything I have up there now and think about it. It's not gonna cost me anything to keep them, so I'll just keep what I have, and I'll just go forward from there. The only 3 3/4 line I have is the Obi-Wan Kenobi. I have the whole wave. I have Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, Reva. I got the fifth brother, the Grand Inquisitor, and I got Ned 8. So that's the whole wave of all 6 of them from the first wave. And then I have all 3 of the droids they did. I have Boba, R2, and C-3PO. So I have those right here. So like every time I'm looking up, when I'm just leaning back and doing this and thinking or whatever, I'm always looking at these. And then, it's just great to look at. Sooner or later, I might do something over here. I might get rid of this Nintendo stuff. I might just, sooner or later I'm going to get rid of stuff here. Because all I have is, like, this way, when I have all my video games set up, I had stuff strategically set up here. And I'm just hanging stuff around it. So I do have one Big Boss Man, one Hasbro WWF Big Boss Man still on card. Some of those came out last year, around this time last year, thrifting, and I only got one, while some other people took some other ones. Of course, I was pissed the fuck off. Like this one old dirty Italian guy, I wanted to rip his fucking head off. And whatever. But anyhow, you can't get everything, and you're not entitled to shit that you don't grab. But whatever. I think he just spitefully did it just to be a old piece of shit scumbag, and that's why I was really upset about it. And I have stuff, have stuff all over the place. You know what I mean? So I'm just like all over the place with certain things. I was contemplating on getting rid of my NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie 2 packs of Raphael, Leonardo, Donatello, and Michelangelo. Even though Raphael and Michelangelo come in 1 pack, and Leonardo and Donatello come in another. Of course, the Splinter and Shredder, and then the Aruku Saki and Himoto Yoshi. I have those, and of course, I have the Bad Knee April O'Neil, and I got that autograph signed, and JS Aid. So that's definitely a keeper. So, and of course, I have the VHS Walmart exclusive Brendan Lee's The Crow. I love that movie. And that movie means a lot to me because I am a huge fan of the Lee family, just because I love Bruce. And Brandon was in some pretty okay movies, and he's not Bruce Lee, but he has some pretty decent moves. Like I love Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire is my favorite Brandon Lee movie, and then of course The Crow comes after that. But they never made a Rapid Fire figure of Brandon, so I went with The Crow. Even though he did die on his set, I personally, being the kind of person I am, I personally think that was a setup, and I mean, somebody definitely got away with murder at the end of the fucking day. But that's a whole nother segment or video. So, and I still have, and if Jerry or anybody who works for Jerry Macaluso over at Pop Culture Shock, Jerry, promise, I still have your Akuma bust that you gave me back in 2018 at Comic Con on that Sunday. That motherfucker's not going anywhere. It is, as you can see, right here. You see the beads, and you see part of his gi hanging off this chest and shoulder right there. And I'm gonna do a room tour. I haven't done a room tour since what, 2016 or 17, back in Queens in the old house where. And I think the last one I did, a room tour I did, was like the Marvel Legends. I had tons of Marvel Legends all over the place. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at. So what I've gotten rid of, I have gotten rid of my Bionic Woman in a box. I traded that off. And then I also have I had a great condition but loose $6 Million Man as well. And I had, so I got rid of that stuff. So my what are these? My D12s. I have three of them in here, and I have my Hot Wheels, my Hot Toys in here. I got great deals on them. So my plan was just to stick strictly with Star Wars Hot Toys, but during the time when my brother passed away and I was going back and forth to New York every day, dealing with my mom and helping her with the funeral arrangements, suits, and all that stuff, I would go into Forbidden Planet and I would look around. I couldn't see no Star Wars stuff, so I just started seeing figures I like from a lot of the Marvel movies, and bam, just like that, got hooked. And then I got some stuff from Dave, who owns the antique collectible mall in the Livingston Mall. And then next thing you know, I started meeting up with some people through Facebook. And one guy, I met him once in the city. I forgot his name already. And I got that Venom and somebody else I can't remember from him for a great price. We met on 34th Street. Then this other dude named Ivan, real cool guy. And me and Ivan, I've gotten a lot of stuff over him. He's actually holding some stuff for me that I'll hopefully be picking up Saturday or Saturday night, depending on how my sales go between Friday and after Saturday. So yay to that stuff. And and I also, so as far as packaged new stuff, and I am going to be keeping stuff in card and in box, it's going to be the Super 7 Thundercats. I want to get the Super 7 Silverhawks, and now I believe I heard that they're all doing them all in the metallic paints, so maybe I'm going to get them anyway. I do want to get them. And of course the Loyal Subject Turtles. I might just start getting rid of those. I don't know yet. I'm still stuck between a rock and a hard place with those because I do like them. And they don't take a lot of room. As far as NECA goes, I do have NECA Gremlin stuff. And I would like to get all of the NECA Gargoyles because I love that TV show was badass back in the 90s. Like, let me tell you, like a lot of cartoons was trash to me in the 90s. But I'm gonna tell you which two cartoons that I loved a lot. I mean, there's a lot of cartoons I like, but the two that really I loved, I adored, is Gargoyles and fucking the original Batman anime, the Batman animated series. Those two cartoons are just dead drop, sadistically badass to me. And yeah, so I am collecting a lot of toy lines. I mean, you got people that just collect one or two, and Godspeed to y'all, because that's more money in your pocket. With all the money I spent on this shit, I could have been done with my G.I. Joe collection. Sooner or later, a lot of this stuff may fade itself out. I might fade out. I am still thinking about getting rid of one or two other collections. None of it vintage though. And the reason why I'm saying vintage is because as soon as I start getting rid of my vintage Star Wars or mask, that's when that shit's gonna be thrown in my face. And I just realized I actually have a Mythic Legion figure up there. I gotta get rid of that. I'm definitely gonna get rid of that shit this week. That one is going. That's gotta go. Hold on one second. I'm gonna show you guys it, but I gotta pay my water bill real quick. All right, so yes, sir, I'm back, y'all. So this is the figure I was talking about. I got this from Hector. I think Hector said he got this down in the flea market or something like that down in Florida when he went. And this is actually a figure that I actually customized and made it better looking than what it was. And he comes with his head, or like the trap jaw type head, and the jaw is articulated. I don't deal with Mythic Legions anymore, so I don't know his name, but I'm just gonna put Mythic Legion custom piece, and I'm gonna put this out for sale. I don't want this piece of shit. I don't have no affiliation with Mythic Legions. They can go fuck themselves and all burn together in the fucking factory for all I care. That's just the way I feel, you know. But anyway, I digress. Enough of that ranting. You know what I mean? And then like stuff like this I would keep just cause this is actually autographed. The box gotten a little beat up over time, but Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, signed this directly to me. I mean, he didn't put his name. I mean, he didn't put my name. He just signed it. This is something I was thinking about getting graded, but I might just take it to a show where he's at and just take a picture with him holding it and then get a JS8. That's my plan. And then I also have Sergeant Slaughter one here, Sergeant Slaughter Hall of Fame. Him in that drill sergeant type of outfit. So I'm holding this to go to another event and have him sign it. That's my goal. That's my goal. I say gold. And so yeah, so I do have the original, what is it, like 6-inch turtles that came out some years ago. They're really, really nice, very articulated. And I have those in these shadow boxes, and I had them in there for years. So I might take them down and sell them with the shadow boxes, or I may just, you know, get a comic book or something. Yeah, I think I might just get a comic book and just put 2 comics in there and just leave them up there, because I'm not really a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan as far as toys go. I mean, come on, who didn't like the movies and who didn't like the cartoon? The cartoon was dope. The video games are even doper. Speaking of video games, I'll get to that in a sec. So I do have a nice amount of the Best Action, aka Loyal Subject turtles. It all started with the 4 of them from Walmart over a year ago, and I was like, "Oh, these looks pretty cool." And at that time, I was collecting the Turtle NECA stuff. I had every Turtle NECA or every expensive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle themselves. I probably was missing a couple of the villains here and there, but I had all the great shit. And so it started with them, and then I think I got Casey Jones. Around Christmas, GameStop had a sale, and I think I picked up the Casey Jones, the Casey Jones, Shredder, and I think Bebop. Bebop. I got them for like under $9 or $12 each. No, around $9 or under $10 each. They had a crazy sale, so I got those, and then over time, I wound up getting the street style ones, and I think I'm missing I think one turtle I have all 3. Either way you look at it, I'm missing some of the variants of those. I may be getting rid of my Walmart exclusive G.I. Joes like the Gung Ho, Baroness, Lady J, and Destro, because they didn't make any more of that particular retro pack 6-inch figures. And then I had the 3 3/4 ones they did like around COVID. They just stopped that dead. Those are the ones that they actually came out with the figures with the vehicles, and they just deaded it. And it seemed like now Hasbro's just concentrating on the classifieds. So I have some stuff from those lines. I already got rid of the vehicles with the figs already, so I think I'm going to get rid of those. And I actually have that the display stand for it, so I may just try to sell all of it with the display stand. Jesus Christ. I may actually, ask Eric if he's interested in that as well. If so, I'll just work out something with him because that stand alone got to be worth something. That stand got to be like $400 or $500 just for that cardboard stand alone. I mean, yeah, I could probably keep it, which I may keep that. I don't know yet. I don't need it. I don't need those figures. So I may be getting rid of those 4 figures but those ain't gonna go for shit because they're still available in Walmart and they're peg warming. So I may just sell those I may just put them out or take them to the Meadowlands Saturday and sell them. At least those 4. But yeah, so right now I'm concentrating on just figuring out what the hell I'm doing because I need to start concentrating on some parts I need for the I still need weapons for some of my Transformers and for some of the what do they call them, the whatever, I don't know, I can't think of the fucking name now. And then I need some pieces to finish off some of my my Star Wars play sets that are missing stuff. And then of course I got G.I. Joe vehicles that are missing stuff, and I'm missing some things off the USS Flag. Other than that, all my other G.I. Joe grails, I have everything. I think the General's missing something. I gotta go back and look at some of the shit and see what's missing for some of the things so I can write everything down legitimately. But yeah, that's what I'm really concentrating on now. I'm gonna start concentrating little by little. The Star Wars stuff is the easiest stuff to get because everybody's trying to get rid of it. Not everybody likes the older stuff anymore. So that's a good thing for me. You know what I mean? Right now, what's big with Star Wars is the Black Series. Black Series is just it right now. And now all these different shows they're coming out with, like they got Endor. I try to watch Endor, I couldn't do it. It's something about Endor that just is boring to me. I'm like, I don't like the actor. I don't like him at all. I never liked him, and I tried watching it just to, and I can't get into it. Book of Boba, wasn't a fan of that too much. And of course, just like everybody else, my favorite character was Cad Bane. You know what I mean? And he was the only reason why I liked watching it. What he was in, or was it in Mandalorian? Was he in Mandalorian 2 and Book of Boba? Well, whatever. Either way, I didn't like Book of Boba that much. I didn't like the new suit. I didn't like the new Boba suit, and the fact that he's not really a Mandalorian. Yeah, it's like a lot of things with Boba after later on, and I know this from books way before these movies and shit. I mean, I used to read all the old books. I don't even understand why they just don't take the characters from the old fucking Star Wars books after Return of the Jedi for the last fucking 20-something years before all this movie jibber jabber, and start making it, because anybody who read the books know that Luke trained his nephew and his niece, because Han Solo and Princess Leia had a fucking set of twins. They had a boy and a girl. They had Jenna and Jason, or is it Jason? Whatever. Anyway, they had a boy and a girl, and yeah, and Luke, he turned himself to the dark side, to the Emperor, to keep his nephew and niece safe. You know what I mean? So these are all in the old books and shit like that. So they should do some shit like that instead of coming up with all these new ideas and all this other jibber jabber. I would love to see the Ahsoka, what her name is, Asuka. I'd love to see how her series is, because basically she's a badass Jedi. I mean, come on, she survived Order 66, and she got to be a real badass person, because one, she was trained by Anakin Skywalker. You know what I mean? So that don't say a lot, and she already had good and great potential when she was his apprentice. So imagine how banging she got over time. So that right there is just badass. All in his own. So I'm hoping that's gonna be a good show. And plus, I like Rosario Dawson. I've seen almost every movie she was in, even the old movies before she was anybody. So I am a huge fan of hers. I'm not a fan of the guy who plays in Endor, the main guy, and the fact that the show, he's kind of cowardly to me in a little bit. And I don't like that actor. I don't like him. There's something about him personally. It's not his acting skills. It's not him as the characters he portrayed. I just don't like him as a human being. It's just something about his spirit I just don't like. So that combined with the fact that to me the show is slow paced and it's just like it drags, and I always nod off and fall asleep. It's like me trying to sit there and watch AEW. It's just fucking boring garbage. So it's just not my cup of tea. But anyhow, moving on from this stuff. So again, like I said, so today thrifting, I wound up getting that Game Boy Advance in the bag with 2 games and a whole bunch of accessories, which is pretty dope. Yeah. So today I went back, and unfortunately, the Arctic Bat was gone. And thanks to my dude Eric, he talked me into the Arctic Bat. I did a little research on it, and I really didn't like it too much. But I said, all right, well, I'll pick them up. And when I went back to today, somebody was ready at the register. As I'm getting in there, as I'm walking in, as I'm being greeted by the worker of GameStop, guys is actually at the register, not online, but at the register, paying for this. So I went to the other GameStop on Route 3, and they actually had one. So I did pick this up for Eric, but I think tomorrow I might go somewhere else, and if I do find one, I might just pick it up for him and tell him, yo, I got it for you. Or worst case scenario, I might just give him this one, and I might find another one for myself, because I don't really need this. You know what I mean? He collects these. I'm more into like the figures that are old school to me, not into all these guys. But I don't know yet. But you're watching this, brother. I know you are. We'll talk about it. You know what I mean? You did talk me into it now. But yeah, whatever. And I wound up getting this. He also talked me into buying this, which people can't do. You know what I mean? But you know, this is, I mean, and he's right. You know, I was like, you know what? I'll wait for the price to go down. But you know, the Snake Eyes with Timber has been out for a long time, and I don't think the price dropped on that yet. Because I did see some of the Indiana Jones figures, and I was just gonna get them to hold on to them and sell them anyway. But then I'm gonna lose money on them. And I see people on YouTube talking about how, oh well, it's 70% where I'm at in Targets. I went today, and the only figure that was on sale was that 3 3/4 Indiana. He was $5.99. The Salah, he was his regular price, and that female Helena, whatever her name is, Smith or whatever, she was $24.99, and the 6-inch Indiana was the same price. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not like 70% off. So I left them shits there. Only thing I took was this, and I called Eric to see if he needed a scrap iron. And he was like, nah, I already got mine. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I was like, yo, but you don't think $50, 45 is too much for it? And we were talking. And he was like, well, yeah. Because, no, I'm the kind of person that I really sit back and wait on stuff. Especially now when it comes to a lot of this shit. But then he's like, you know what? You don't know if they made too many of him or not enough. Because I'm pretty sure Hasbro and already know that a lot of the toys like this are sitting on shelves. Like, you know, you can go anywhere and still almost find, especially in Walmart, you see tons of the Snake Eyes with the Timber. So I'm waiting for that to go on sale, because I did the same thing for the Masters of the Universe Rotor, the black little thing, you know, the black circular thing with the red spikes going around it. I wasn't giving them motherfuckers no $43 for that, so I waited. And I think I got it for like. No, actually, I got it. I think I got it in Columbus for like either 15 or 20, and then like about a week or two later, I see it in Walmart on sale for like $13 or something like that, which is ironic considering today I went to Target and guess what they have on sale? They have the 3-pack Sunman, Pighead or Pigman, what his fucking name is, and the other guy with Sunman. I paid $50 for that damn thing about 7 or so months ago, maybe longer than that. And they got the motherfucker on sale for like what? I think like $14.99 or $13 or something like that. I was pissed off. And that's the reason why I don't rush to buy anything no more. And I was going to do the same thing with this, but he did have a valid point when he was like, well, you know what? You don't know, by the time that thing gets discounted, boxes, well, he didn't actually say boxes may be damaged. I'm actually saying that now as I'm actually adding to his collaboration on his synopsis on what he thought on it. And I was like, you know what? It makes sense. You know, there's a good chance that it may not be too many of them out there. And by the time it does get clearanced out, it may not even be available. You may not be able to get your hands on it. And I was like, yeah, you know what? That makes sense. So I listen. You know, I do listen. And but you know, 45 was a big drop. I mean, I don't even think I ever. Well, actually, no, I did. Because Southern Slaughter, Serpentor, Dr. Mindbender, but those are like exclusives. I mean, of course, this could have been an exclusive just because he comes with this, you know, what I'm saying his missile drone. It could have been Hasbro Repulse or a HasLab. Who knows? It could have been anything, and it does have some nice weight to it. One thing I get nervous when I buy these is I'm like, yo, what if I buy these and none of the fucking figures in here? What if it's something else in here? Like, how do I know? You know, and that's another thing you gotta be careful of. It's like, how do you know that you didn't get the one that maybe somebody just took a whole bunch of this shit and just returned, you know, took all of them out, put other stuff in here and returned it. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at it now, but it's already too late. I already brought the fucking thing. You know what I mean? And that's the thing I don't like about these packages. It's like, how do I know somebody didn't do that? You know what I mean? So it's always best to try to, if you are gonna grab them, you know, the one thing about GameStop, I know I don't have to worry about that with GameStop because GameStop is real funny on how they deal with shit and how they take stuff back versus a store. And I'm looking at them now, but I should have did this at the location, to be honest. But it's just real iffy because you don't know. You know, like, what if you have this thing for years, you decide to open it up or you sell it to somebody at a toy convention, they open it up and it's like a Barbie doll with, you know, you're gonna stand there looking stupid like, oh shit, you know. You never know. But yeah, I did buy this. So basically I brought 5 G.I. Joe figures, and this is the first time in about 2 months that I've actually even went toy hunting retail. I mean, you know, like the 4th of July weekend, me and my wife did go and buy house cleaning stuff and other shit in Walmart. And while I was in there, I did look for stuff. Well, because we were there, we were at the Super Walmart in Kearney, and I was like, okay, so I was in there, so that, you know, so technically that was last month, and I don't think I got anything. I don't even think it was anything to buy. Either I did, or I think I got one of those He-Man things. It was something. Maybe I got nothing, or maybe I got something. I'm not really too sure, but that's basically that stuff. So yeah, and of course, you know, Eric, he actually gifted me this Greenlight Hollywood 1983 BA's GMC Vandora. Let me tell you something, crazy fool. Don't touch my van. So, I am a huge A-Team fan, of course. A lot of you guys out there remember me when I had my Mr. T haircut. And people to this day, they still call me T for short. Because a lot of people don't remember my name. They don't want to remember my name. They just always remember me as, hey, the black stocky brother. Back then, I was a lot heavier. Even before that, when I was like real muscular. Before I moved out here, I just got fat. You know, now I'm a lot more trim. I'm basically almost the old me when people first met me years ago. When I was like back when I was real diesel, like I was like, ugh. And then after that, I just fell off. Like, moved out here, life was great, wasn't working like that no more, and I just got fat. I was like 305. You know, I carried it well, but I was still big. You know what I mean? I look like a short Somalian, dark Somalian, so to speak. Now I'm a lot more trim. I mean, you can see my delts and, you know, my forearm muscles and all that. And, you know, I can still work on my stomach and shit like that, you know, but for a guy that was diabetic and overweight, now I'm 225. It's funny because like a year and a half ago, I was actually 205. I got so skinny to where my head was too big for my body, and I couldn't stand it. My mom loved it. A lot of people was like, "Oh, it looks good on you." I didn't like it. I was too skinny. I felt very light. Now I'm at the weight where I want to be, so I work out and I watch what I eat and shit like that. But you know, the older you get, no matter what you do, you know, it just is what it is. You know, one thing you can't beat is time. You know what I'm saying? But I do know a lot of people that are diabetic and they depend on medications to make them lose weight. And I think that's even worse because it's like, anyway, I'm not going to go into those details. But, yeah, so that's basically where I'm at. You know, just in case somebody's asking, will I get more 3 3/4 Star Wars figures, new stuff? You never know. You know, if they come out with a series 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi and they have figures in another wave, will I get them? Maybe. If they come out with more 3 3/4 droids with the coin, will I get those? Oh, I'll definitely get those. Because there was nobody I don't like from the droids. I mean, I don't think I would get the 6-inch But if they continue to do the 3-inch, I think I might. I think I definitely might dabble into getting those, because they, the box art is just beautiful, and the coins along with it, it just complements everything about the figures and that specific cartoon, as well as the old vintage droid figures. As far as like Star Wars, or like the stuff like this Chewie, I do got to get my hands on C3PO. They do have Pompo, but I went to 2 different Game Stops, and the Pompo they want like $25 for it, and the packaging is beat up. I'm not paying that much for that, for Ewok. I mean, yeah, I don't even remember what I paid for Wicked, but whatever. So, yeah. Excuse me. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at. So there is still a lot of the new stuff that I'm actually collecting and I'm keeping on card, which are the Loyal Subject Turtle stuff, the NECA Gargoyles, Super 7 Thundercats. The Super 7 Thundercats, depending on what goes on, I may actually take all these guys and put them back downstairs in their boxes and just keep them in bins. That would be actually a hypocritical oxymoron, considering that I said that I don't really want to keep or collect anything that I can't see, with my eyes. But I'm doing it with the what do they call it? With the Origins, with the Motu Origins. Because I had them and I was collecting them along, and then I started doing the Masterverse along with those, but then I got rid of my Masterverse. Then I got rid of the Origins, and then I did a trade with Hector last year, and that's how I wound up getting a lot of, including the Castle Grayskull again. So I was like, fuck it. So I just, kept the Origins, and I was like, what, I'll just collect these, and then one day later on down the future, I'll just sell off that whole collection, which I still may do. That was my plans with the Mythic Legions anyway. But I knew with the Mythic Legions, it was definitely a gold mine. I did do okay with them, but a lot of the stuff I did have was still basic figures you can get your hands on. Not to take anything away from them. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say that Mythic Legions is not a dope company or make dope shit. I just didn't like the way I was treated that day, and the fact that the owner spoke to me on that Sunday, and he seemed not to really give a fuck. I just felt, fuck him too, and that's how I felt about Mythic Legions. One thing about me versus a lot of you guys out there is I can turn myself off like a light switch. I can go right, left, up, down, and not give a flying fuck. That's the one thing about me I do love. I mean, I love this stuff, but I'm not in love with it. Me needing any of this shit and me wanting any of this shit is different. And that's the difference I could say. That's why some people might say I'm indecisive. No, I just don't give a fuck about this stuff like that. I love it. It gives me something to do. It keeps me from being like any other old man and fucking die of a heart attack on the couch somewhere. It gives me something to do. It gives me admirations to just enjoy nostalgic shit that I like, as I was a younger adult. And I'm able to afford, I was able to afford it back then, but I'm able to afford it now. And I have the room to fully display the stuff I really, really love. I didn't have the room before when we had other houses and shit, because we had smaller places that we've gotten rid of and we upgraded. So I actually have the real estate to display my shit, but I don't have a crazy real estate to be able to keep going. So I have to downsize shit that I'm like, okay, well, what do I really need or want versus what I don't need or want. So that's why I decided to do that. So it's very vastly important for you guys and girls out there to decide that, to figure out your balance on what do you really need. Because in reality, you don't need any of this shit. You know what I mean? So it should be more or less of what do I need to get rid of and what do I want to keep. So those are the key words you have to, learn to differentiate. What do I need to get rid of and what do I really want to keep? So you need to, the wants and needs are two different. We need food, a roof over your head, clothes on your back, and a job to continue living good enough until you close your eyes for good. Those are things you need. Now, I want to have eye candy, and I want to have stuff I had as a child, and I want to be able to collect stuff that I love. That's the difference. So again, with that, I am collecting so much shit. So again, my main my main vintage toy lines that I'm into is, of course, G.I. Joe, G1 Transformers, original Star Wars, WWF Hasbro, and Kenner Mask. Those are the 5 lines, and those lines are killer. And I could have been finished 3 of those 5 lines if I didn't dibble and dabble into all this other shit that I kept buying and selling. So, and again, when it comes to the new stuff, Super 7 Thundercats, hopefully I want to add the Super 7 Silverhawks to that. So I would say Super 7 Thundercats, hopefully Super 7 Silverhawks. Again, Loyal Subject Turtle stuff, which may be a question mark. Of course, the classified G.I. Joe, and then the NECA Gargoyle stuff. So that's where I'm at when it comes to new sealed stuff. And of course, Hot Toys, but I don't put Hot Toys in this category, but it should be because it's still like 6 or 7 toy lines that I'm into, as far as new goes. So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I overnight, even while this video is uploading, I think I'm gonna get rid of those 4 Walmart figures. And it's funny because probably once I do that, I mean, I don't know what Walmart plans are to continue that 6-inch line, because right now they're bumming. And I'm gonna tell you why these toy companies are fucked up and why they have too much stuff on the shelves. They no longer put 3 or 4 or more individual figures per box. They're putting the same one fucking figure per box. This is why these idiotic companies like Mattel, Hasbro, these guys are stupid. The people that run these companies are fucking dingbats. They have just because you have a business degree don't mean you know how to run a business. You know who run business right? Hustlers. People like myself, hustlers who know, hustlers that are down on the ground doing the heavy work while you guys are up in the boardrooms doing light work. Because you guys just sit back, y'all pay ass kisses. That's all y'all do. Y'all pay ass kisses, and some of them may be toy collectors, but they still ass kissers who want to, and they more for pleasing you than pleasing the people that make the product make money. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Why the fuck would you turn around and put 6 to 14 of these on a fucking shelf in the same box? Why not put a variety? Put 2 or 3 of him in it with another 4 or 5 fucking figures. That's how you sell. When you add the same amount, when you put the same figure per case, then you Neanderthals sit back and wonder why you fucking morons have all this shit sitting in landfills, and why you got Ollie's and TJ Maxx selling a whole bunch of these for fucking 70% less than what it came out with like 6-7 months ago. Hello, what the fuck? And it's like you guys don't seem to learn. It's like I just don't understand it. Like, you guys got, then they're making these toys that are garbage. Like, who need? And again, you're taking the same one figure and you're adding the same one figure per case. What happened to adding 4 or 5 different figures per case? That's what people want. That way, everybody have a better chance, and you're gonna get more people that's gonna want the product. But when you got the same one fucking figure per case, you're basically shooting. It's like what McFarlane does. I mean, let's face it. A lot of you people out there love McFarlane stuff. And yeah, I understand about the whole licensing thing and all that other, bullshit ass excuse y'all keep feeding yourselves. It's just repaints. I mean, he been doing this for over almost 30 years, man. Like, it's the same shit for almost 30 years. I remember back when you had the hamburger head Spawn. People were paying $200-$300 for that shit. Then, like a 2 weeks later, you go into Kmart and you go down in the basement in Kmart, and they got that big metal bin, the big metal mesh bin, and they got tons of fucking, McFarlane Spawn figures in there, and you find 2 or 3 different variated or variations of the hamburger head spawn for like fucking, what was it, like what, $12.99, $11.99, $12.99 back then, versus you going into a store like It's Another Hit on 32nd or 33rd Street, and you're giving this motherfucker $250, $300 for it, and then a week, 2 weeks later, you find it up the block in 34th Street or the 14th Street Kmart in a bin. Then you got the brown or green Malbalgia. I mean, it's just, McFarlane, it's like his stuff doesn't, his toys don't have a real good track record of keeping the value. I'm sorry, but they don't. I brought and had almost every one of his toys, and he's one of the only companies that he puts a lot of effort and a lot of detail in a lot of his shit, and his stuff was like way past. His stuff was way more advanced than any other toy line back then. Now he plays catch up, but at the same time, a lot of his products gotten better with his multiverse wave compared to what his figures used to be, and that's why people love NECA stuff better, because even his Movie Maniac stuff, they were figures, but they were like figure / statues where they were all like prefixed in a certain action pose that gave them a little playability, but they didn't have that full action figure articulation, and I think that's why NECA just went. They went and they just went way beyond what he did. Like when they first came out, his stuff was better. It was way more. The figures looked more like him, and the paints were better. But after a while, just like what Hasbro did when they brought out Toy Biz, like the first 2 or 3 waves, when they did that Pit wave and Fing Foom Fang or whatever that damn dragon was, and the Juggernaut and the Blob, like the paint apps were off. The figures and the even the packaging was garbage, so those were not desired Marvel Legends. And now all 3 to 4 of those Build-A-Figure waves are like Grail pieces now, because that was when Hasbro first started manufacturing, like those particular figures. Because now nobody went back in the day, even after Hasbro came out, up to like 3 years ago, the Toy Biz Marvel Legends, everybody still wanted them. Every wave, everybody still wanted them because they had beautiful packaging and they give you a comic, and it was nice artwork just to hang by itself. You didn't even need to take it off the cards or out the plastic. But now you look at the Toy Biz stuff now, and it's a joke. You sit back and you laugh and you're like, wow, look how shitty and crappy these guys look, because look how far Marvel came with Hasbro doing on toy line. So and that's how it is with the McFarlane. And again, one thing about me, man, I'm loyal to respect, and I respect to be loyal. I'm not gonna kiss your ass just because you're the toy line everybody else is going after. Nah, man. That's why I did my video, and I know a lot of people didn't like it. I don't give a fuck. It's not for you to like. Don't watch my channel. I'm one of the realest people up here on YouTube. No, I am the original. First of all, I'm the original motherfucker up here on YouTube. I was one of the first guys to have better quantity and quality hot toys than anybody. When YouTube first started. When eBay first started, I was one of the first sellers on there. When YouTube first started, I was one of the first toy guys to really bring, not toy people on YouTube, but one of the realest and one of the first guys to have every Grail hot toy that everybody and their grandmother wanted. Back in 2009. From late 08, early 9, y'all just didn't see the face. Y'all saw the voice and y'all saw all the details with all my hot toys growing. And y'all like, where'd you get this from? I would love to have that. And then all of a sudden later on, everybody was like, yo, this guy's dope. He collects toys and he looks like Mr. T, and everything grew. Then after that, I had this one dude that was just hating. He was a troll and suspect, who happened to be a so-called, military guy. And for some reason, he just decided to put his 2 cents in it, and it added fuel to some puppet from England, and that just went somewhere else. And for whatever reasons, man, and all of a sudden my channel just went, but like my cousin Russ said, yo, Mike, you should have kept your old channel. I probably would have had who knows how many hundreds of thousands of subs, but I don't like drama. And a lot of people now look at me, they're like, oh, he's just an arrogant asshole. He's into dry, because you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Black people, when they stand up for themselves, are always a threat to anybody. First of all, the way I look, the way I carry the way I dress, the way I look, my demeanor, the way I speak, the way I walk, the way I'm built, automatically intimidates people. And anybody who knows me personally outside of YouTube, just my retired occupation and the kind of person I am, and for those who know what I served, where, and all that other shit, that right there just adds more to the aggression of people just being intimidated. And then when I come up here and I speak the truth and the fact that I have no filter, not giving a fuck, being hypocritical or two-faced and being straightforward, that turns people the wrong way. And again, my skin color helps. Some people might say, oh, that has nothing to do with it. Yes, it does. At the end of the day, the most frightening thing to people is, or what they consider, a militant black person. A black man who speaks his mind is the most dangerous individual to other people. We never colonized, raped, robbed, or sold, or owned people and did shit throughout history like we all know who. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when you speak up for yourself and when you have this sort of, assertiveness to you, that automatically, you know what I'm saying, gives off a bad vibe to people, and it makes people very, very defensive because you speak up for yourself. And it's just something about a black man that it is just, it intimidates certain people. Some people may or may not agree to it or say that's true or no, that's not true. Listen, I've been on this earth long enough. I have a history of knowing how black men in this country are. Let's see why. Because for all these years I've been on this earth, I happen to be a black man who actually been on all sides of the fence. So I think I kind of understand how and why things are the way it is. But because I'm the kind of person I am, a lot of people don't like it's not even about them not liking me. They don't like me for whatever reason, and I'm cool with that. I get people that say, oh, well, your videos suck. Nobody watches your shit anyway. As long as I get one or two people watching, I don't care. One thing I don't like is the fact that I should have hundreds of thousands of subs. That's definitely no given. But the thing that gets under my skin the most is the people that don't leave comments. Everybody will sit there and watch my shit and say shit like, oh, your videos are very entertaining, epic. They'll use the word epic or epic rants or whatever, but at the same time, they don't want to leave comments because they're too afraid for those out there who they know talk shit about me. That they'll sit there and command me and give me thumbs up and say, oh, your videos are entertaining, or your videos are this, your videos are that, but they won't leave a comment because a lot of people they deal with and know will sit back and say, oh, I don't like that guy. He's an arrogant asshole, whatever. And to their face, they're like, yeah, you're right, or this and that. But then they'll sit there and kiss my ass or smile on my face and say, hey, your videos are epic, or you're this, or you're that. But at the same time, they're too afraid because, it's more about image on what somebody else think than what they think with themselves. And this is why I'm free to not give a fuck what anybody think and how they think of me. As long as I come home, and let me tell you something, I have 3 children. I have 4 nieces. 2 I know personally. No, 2. I'll put up 3 fingers. I don't get into my family business, but I don't deal with my baby brother and whatever he got going on in life. That's the kind of person I am. I can, whether you're blood or not, I can cut myself off from anybody. One thing about me, my wife and my kids can say, I can hold no fucking emotional attachment. I can drop anybody, even my mother. I could drop anybody like it ain't shit. That's one thing about me. I've always been. I mean, I can do the same to my wife, my kid, and they can contest this. That's how much of a big of an asshole I am. I don't give a fuck. I can stop feeling anything about anybody any moment. I've always been like that my whole life. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, as long as I know that I raised my kids right and I did right by my kids and my wife, that's all I give a fuck about. Because at the end of the day, when you're dead and gone, the only memories you have, the only thing that holds your existence is those true loved ones that know you and accept you. And I got a son who's 23, who's my junior. Then I have a daughter who's basically a senior because she, her name is Michelle, which is I can't even say a female name for Michael because you have a lot of Europeans and people from Israel who are men who are named Michelle. So it's a universal name, just like you have a lot of American women named Michael too. Some of them spell it with just H-A-L or H-E-L or H-E-A-L instead of H-A-E-L. So there's no real proper pronunciation on how to spell that name. But anyhow, and then, then we have Isaiah, the 14-year-old. So, I mean, I know that, me and my oldest son, my junior, we've had talks, and there's certain ways I raised him and certain things I've said back in the past and the way I was with him, he didn't like and he didn't appreciate. We spoke about that and I apologize for it and I try to explain to him why this is that. But you know what? Kids nowadays are bitch-ass motherfucking sensitive kids. I'm not sitting here calling my son a bitch or whatever, but I think a lot of these boys nowadays are too sensitive and a lot of the females are too fucking masculine. I just think the roles are being reversed. And then now I see these generations, you go out there. When I went out to eat growing up, to Sizzler and all these other places, everybody sat down, we spoke, we ate, everybody interacted with each other. Anywhere you go now, even on a fucking date, even if you're on a date and you see newlyweds or a guy taking a nice looking girl out, and she's on, they talking, but she's in her fucking phone, he's in his phone, and I'm like, why the fuck he took the bitch out? And I be sitting there like, I drive and I see people walk down the street doing this. Everywhere you go, this is what they're doing. I go to Isaiah's room. This is what he's doing all day. So he gets mad and have an attitude when I say, listen, you're going out today. You know what I mean? And I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. Then sometimes, my oldest son don't like the way he's talked to. You're a grown ass man. You got chores to do. You wanna do shit your way, get the fuck out my house. It's that simple. That's how I am. My daughter, she already knew better. Once she went to college, she came home because of COVID. She graduated the same time when COVID was being lifted. She stayed here till she got enough money together and she got herself an expensive apartment in Harlem. The girl got like 2 jobs. She's an entrepreneur. She's doing a lot of shit. She was over here. She took Isaiah out. She took him to that pop-up turtle experience thing in the city Friday. They made a day of it. She got pictures up and everything. This is what they did. My daughter's a very beautiful young lady. There's certain things that she does in her life I don't like. I'm not a guy who drinks or smoke. I'm not a drug guy. To me, weed is drugs. I don't do alcohol, but kids are kids. Everybody does what they do. But I don't like that. But it's not my life. You understand? So it is what it is. But everybody's everybody. You know what I mean? But to me, I felt that I did the best I can, but I guess there's certain things I've done and I've said to my kids in the past that they probably didn't appreciate or like. And I thought I did good. Sometimes you could think you did good by people and you really didn't. But everybody have their own whatever. And I just look at it like I did the best I could and I tried, and there's things you didn't like. We spoke about it. I apologize. You felt this way, and you either move on or you hold on to it. I just think in today's society, a lot of men nowadays are just a whole bunch of bitch ass niggas, and I just think a lot of these women are just real tough fucking bitches. And now the roles are being reversed, and now they trying to force you into speaking this and saying that and all that, and I'm not with none of that shit. If you were born with a fucking smelly, bleeding, fishy, smelling vagina between your legs, and or if you were born with a smelly ass, funky ass, gym room smelling ball sack between your legs, guess what? That's what you are. You are born a man just because you decide to put somebody else's in your mouth and in your anus, and or you decide to cut yours off. Don't make me think that your name is Dan and you want to be called Deborah, or because your name was Deborah and now you want to be called Donald. That's none of my fucking business. If you don't like, if I know this what your name was, and if you decided, whatever the fuck you decide is your decision. But you're not gonna sit here and try to force me into telling me what I'm gonna call you or whatever. No, I'm gonna call you nothing, because you're not gonna be in no existence to me. You know what I mean? That's just the way I fucking feel about it. I just think society and everything is just sick now. I am a Trump supporter, and I don't give a fuck what people. I have people say, "How you support Trump? You black." I'm like, "How you not support him and you black?" Like, what the fuck color got to do with it? You know, we niggas, we out here killing each other more than anybody. Just as much, and got more envy and hatred in us than anybody. This is why the Jews own and have so much, and why niggas don't have shit. You know what? You know what black people got plenty of? Envy, criminal records, bad credit, and a bad fucking rep. And guess who hold the keys to all that? Them fucking Jews and the white man. Anyway, enough of that shit. Peace.